Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to commencement ceremonies for class 2015-1 of your Idaho Youth Challenge Academy. I am Trevor Sparrow, Deputy Director, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies for today's event. Please rise as you are able and remain standing for the arrival of Lieutenant Governor Brad Little, Major General Gary Saylor, and the rest of the official party, the arrival of the cadets, the presentation and posting of our national and state colors, our national anthem sung by our choir, the Pledge of Allegiance, and the invocation. It is now my honor to introduce Cadet Scene to lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It is now my honor to introduce Cadet Gartman to deliver the invocation.
Will you please bow your heads and join me in the invocation? Dear Lord, thank you so much for getting everyone here today safely so we can enjoy this time of commencement into the new lives we are about to begin. It's been a long 22 weeks, Lord, probably the longest 22 weeks anyone here has ever experienced. However, I want to thank you for helping everyone get through this challenging part of our lives. Please watch over all the cadets and their families as we acclimate back to the outside world. Please protect all of us from the temptations we are sure to face, and bless everyone here dearly. Thank you, Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated. They sound good. Thank you for your attention and respect. The cadets of IDYCA's Class 15-1 have certainly had an opportunity to create their own legacy and build a future for classes to follow. They've worked hard, spent a record-setting class in many aspects. You will hear about those records today. One record I'd like to mention was set by our GEMS flight. I took time this class cycle to poll all of the challenge programs around the nation to see if they had ever had a flight or a platoon that has finished with 100% of the cadets they started with. I'm happy to report there's only been one other program that has ever had a female flight have 100% of the cadets start and finish in the history of challenge programs nationwide. Interesting to note, they only had 9 cadets. I'm honored to report that Class 15-1 had 22 young ladies start and 22 young ladies finish. As promised, our speakers today will continue to highlight the Class of 15-1, their records and accomplishments. Idaho U Challenge cadets, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce our director, Derek Newland.
Good afternoon. Could I have the light people turn the lights up a little bit so we can see who we're talking to a little bit? It does look like I'm looking into a black hole. Hey, thank you. Outstanding, thank you. Anyway, good afternoon. What a day. And it has been what a day. We had a couple of miscommunications this morning, but we got all of our cadets here and ready to walk across the stage, whether we didn't coordinate yellow buses or not, but we're here today and we're ready to go. We just wanted to keep them a little bit longer is what it really, anyway, I personally want to welcome Lieutenant Governor of our great state, Brad Little. Thank you so much for being here. I'd also like to for those of you that haven't spent any time in the military, it's pretty much protocol. We're going to note who's here. Major General Saylor, my boss, is here. Thank you. Mr. Martin Borey, thank you so much, the founder and chairman of Support Our Troops, and also a big supporter of Idaho U Challenge. And there's more faces that showed, so I may miss, but I apologize in advance. Major General Larry LaFrance, retired, thank you for being here again, sir. Like always, we appreciate you being here. We also have Brigadier General John Goodell, the Assistant Adjutant General Commander of the Idaho Army National Guard. Thank you, sir. Brigadier General Brad Ritchie, Director of Joint Staff. Colonel and Mrs. Mike Garshak, thank you very much for being here, Chief of Staff, Idaho Army National Guard. Colonel Jim Herring, Chief of Staff, thank you for being here, Jim. It's also great to see our U.S. legislative representatives and our Idaho state legislators here today, too. I'm going to need a hanky. Also, we have Dr. Chuck Zimmerly from the Department of Education. It's great to have you here. We have Clearwater County Commissioners, City of Pierce elected officials, our Joint School District 171 board members, and Mr. Bob Vian, Superintendent of District 171. Thank you, Bob, and your wife for being here. Lastly, joining me on stage, Harv Nelson, Programs Coordinator. Melissa Browers, our phenomenal Commandant. Mr. Bicker Therian, our Principal of IDYCA. Welcome one and all, thank you. I feel that our staff is probably one of the finest, dedicated, and most caring group of people I've ever worked with. And I can say that because I was pretty much directly involved in the hiring every one of them. But they're focused on one goal and one goal alone, and that's the success of these young men and women that come here and commit themselves to IDYCA. I'd like to recognize my staff and groups. First, Principal Therian, would you and your teachers please stand? I'd like to brag about what our teachers have done with this amazing group of young men and women, but and I steal Bicker's thunder, and it doesn't work out very well, so he's going to talk more about that. My administrative staff, please stand. I think they're working diligently somewhere. Thank you all. And some of our cadets' favorite is, do we have representation from the DFAC, our cooks here for them, because they're the ones that take care of them and feed them. They're very popular. Harv, and your tireless counselors, advocate case managers, admission specialists, please stand and be noted. And also in our support staff, stand, and another popular one with some of our cadets is our medical team. Would you please stand and be noted? Thank you. Commandant, would you please stand and have our cadre stand and be noted, please? Thank you. We have great jobs in Pierce at Youth Challenge. Our cadre, though, I have to say, they're the backbone of what we do. They're with the young men and women 24/7 for 22 weeks, 154 days. Not that we count them out, but we do. They get the kids up, they get young men and women up, they get them dressed, they get them to chow, they get them to class, they do their PT. They lead by example. They've pushed the cadets far beyond whatever they may have thought they were capable of on any given day. They see it all, and when I say they see it all, I mean when you have this many young adults living together, open bay barracks, on each other's nerves, you get to see a lot from intense emotions, happiness, although rare at first, frustrations, complacencies, sometimes laziness. The most common is anger. You know, we have to deal with a lot of the different anger issues. They work with the cadets every day to get through these emotions and get to the root of it and work tirelessly mentoring these amazing cadets, finding solutions and helping in every way they can. Thank you. I couldn't be any more proud of our entire staff. Now to the parents, welcome. Aunts, uncles, guardians, thank you for letting us be a part of your child's life. They have learned so many things while being here. Please give them the chance to prove to you they have become responsible young adults. Cadets, don't make me look bad. With goals, great ideas, manners, and true dedication to continue to strive to be a better person every day. Don't fall down or out of your dinner chair that when they get up, they clear their plate and they might do dishes. It just may happen. Don't, and they may even take out the trash. Just don't be surprised, it could happen. Don't faint if you walk by their bedroom and the bed's made and the clothes are picked up and possibly some homework's open on the bed getting done. It'll be amazing. Please, by all means, don't do their laundry. They know how to do their laundry now. Don't let them kid you. They know how to do their laundry. We've grown so close to these young men and ladies that it's tough for us to let them go, but they are ready and they are very excited to go home and be part of their families again. It was a freezing day in mid-January when these young men and women began the journey of a lifetime. They came from all over our illustrious state, choosing an unknown opportunity, searching for a change, dreaming of success. They soon realized that nothing here was given but earned. Many soon realized that 9 p.m. was bedtime, not time to go out, and 5 a.m. was time to get up, not come home and go to bed. You'll hear stories today of how these changes have come and what great young men and women these are, how their academics have improved, how they now have adopted a lifestyle and philosophy that the harder they work for their goals, the harder it is to surrender them. We've watched these cadets improved every day, and it's exciting. Every class has their own personality. 15-1 had their own. They're an amazing group of young men and women. They learned quick, helped each other out when they needed it, and truly became self-sufficient quicker than any other group of young men and women we've ever had. Yeah, they deserve it. To the cadets, I say to you, we're very proud of you and recognize the group and individual successes that you have achieved over the last 22 weeks. Be proud of what you've accomplished and never forget your 8 core components. You are all now ready to take that first step on the path to success. Thank you. I'd like to now introduce my mentor, my friend, my boss. We're going to start with Major General Saylor, the tag for the Idaho National Guard. General.
Well, I'd like to welcome everybody. With the lights shining in our eyes, I'm not sure who's out there, but there's clapping going on, so somebody must be out there. Welcome one and all. The cadets is pretty much mandatory formation for you, but for the family, friends who have come, the mentors that may be out there, thank you for helping us share in this day of celebration for the cadets. The director was very kind, introducing all the staff that makes this such a great place, but I think I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that in my dealings at the national level with the director of the national programs, people involved in the national program, they are amazed at the state of the Idaho program in such a short period of time. They clearly understand and acknowledge to me we have one of the very best programs going in this United States, and I want to give it a round of applause to the director who's really been the glue to make that work. Thank you. Graduation is really, I view them as kind of a public acknowledgement of what a group of individuals have accomplished. And that's the cadets here today. you recognized, or somebody in your family recognized, that you needed to make a change in your life. And you enrolled in the program, accepted those challenges, and you've overcome all of them. And I think that is just unbelievable, the steps that you've taken, the progress you've made. And I salute you. I personally congratulate each and every one of you for what you have done. This is a very important first step for you, and I wish you the very best of success when you leave here today and go back to your homes, go back to those towns throughout Idaho that you're from. So thank you for what you've done and what you've accomplished. It's also my privilege just flying up here with the Lieutenant Governor today, and he's talking about yesterday I had this meeting and I was there in the afternoon. I did that last night and got this going on and that. A man who is busier than any of us can imagine. And for him to take the time to come up here today to speak to the graduates, he's been a supporter of the program since we first started to put it together. And so I want you to please help me give him a warm welcome to as your keynote speaker for the day.
Thank you, General. I just want to talk a little bit about the genesis of the challenge program that you're all participating in. This is Gary's baby. General Saylor went to the governor and made the pitch, and I'll be blunt about it, over a pretty reluctant legislature. New programs in Idaho are always scrutinized. And you have to make a really good case, particularly at the point in time when the governor and General Saylor proposed this, which was in time when the economy was kind of sputtering back to life after a big slowdown. And I've got to tell you that I don't know if anybody else could have got it done other than Gary Saylor and Butch Otter. So I want to personally thank him for putting this great program together. I came up here with a whole covey of generals, General LaFrenz, Goodell, Ritchie. Being a farm kid, spending time around all these generals is a little humbling. But I want to thank them all for being here, all the distinguished guests, the staff, the teachers, and most importantly, you cadets, your families, your friends, and your sponsors. At the beginning of this program, we heard earlier about the fact that there were 93 and today there's 81, and the incredible esprit de corps of the women participants in this. Esprit de corps, as defined by Webster, is feelings of loyalty, enthusiasm, and devotion to a group among people who are members of the group. And you really do have an esprit de corps. This is a tribute to you cadets, but it's also a tribute to the staff that was introduced that galvanized you together. I'm going to pull rank and ask that the cadets stand up and honor all the staff. So what does commencement mean? Thank you. It means a beginning, a launch, a start. That is an apt word for what is occurring today. No matter where you end up working or studying in the future, your experience here will provide you with some incredibly powerful tools to not only survive in this world, but to thrive. These skills include, first, the ability to make the right choice. Second, the ability to communicate and work with others. And finally, the value of hard work and discipline. Let me touch on each one of these three. The first is the ability to make the right choices. Well, first off, you made the choice or accepted the choice someone made for you to attend this program. Then you made the choice to stay. Our family, my wife, taught our kids the most important thing you can do is make good choices in life. Today you are empowered with the ability to decide first what you do with the most precious commodity you have, and that's your time. And perhaps the second most important choice is who you affiliate with. Your friends, your professional relations, and those for whom you decide to follow as mentors. Second is the power of communication and working in teams. This program does that in spades. In this increasingly complex world, collaboration and teamwork are critical to success. I hear this all the time of business leaders that are out trying to recruit people to work, is they need people that can work in teams and get things done. And finally, the value of hard work and discipline. I'm not an advocate of luck as a strategy for success, even though I've been very fortunate. Louis Pasteur once stated, "Did you ever observe to whom success happens? Chance favors the prepared mind." That means that luck just doesn't happen. It happens to people that work hard and are prepared for it. These three skills, the right choices, working in teams, hard work galvanized with the important virtue of integrity, are life tools that can never be taken away from you. Like me, you're going to make mistakes. Learn from them, but never give up. Recognize that life is unpredictable, just like this morning when the buses didn't show up. Adapt. One of my favorite sayings is change is inevitable. Adaptation and survival are optional. As I said in the beginning, commencement means beginning. You have set a path toward success. Remain on this path. Build on your successes these past few months. And if you approach your life with integrity and these values of discipline, working with people, and striving to make the right choices, you'll be prepared for any challenge in the future. Let me emphasize how proud all of Idaho is of your accomplishments in this program. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Brad Little. Here to make a presentation to the Idaho Youth Foundation is Mr. Martin Boyer. Mr. Boyer is the chairman of Support Our Troops, a public purpose charity through which individual Americans can participate in strengthening the morale and well-being of current military service members and their families. SOT's programs annually provide millions of dollars worth of care goods and services, including family assistance, kids camp assistance, positive public support, and more at hundreds of locations around the globe. If that weren't enough, he and his wife have been unwavering supporters through the Idaho Youth Challenge Foundation. Please welcome Mr. Boyer. Wonderful speakers. Director, would you like to join me?
We'll just show it to them, and we don't have to do.
We do have a presentation from our cadets. They would like to present the Lieutenant Governor, Brad Little, and Mr. Boyer with a copy of the picture of our class, and they all signed it on the mat. So. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our choir, under the direction of Mr. Joshua Joyner, has been working hard. Mr. Joyner will accompany them as they perform God Bless America, Best Day of My Life, and All of Me. Please welcome the 15-1 IDYCA choir.
want me in and you kicking me out. You got my head spinning, no kidding, I can't pin you down. What's going on in that beautiful mind? I'm on your magical mystery ride, and I'm so dizzy, don't know what hit me, but I'll be alright. My head's underwater, but I'm breathing fine. You're crazy and I'm out of my mind, 'cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning. Even when I lose, I'm winning, 'cause I give you all of me, and you give me all of you. Oh. How many times do I have to tell you? Even when you're crying, you're beautiful too. The world is beating you down. I'm around through every move. You're my downfall, you're my muse, my worst distraction, my rhythm and blues. I can't stop singing, it's ringing in my head for you. My head's underwater, but I'm breathing fine. You're crazy and I'm out of my mind, 'cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I'll give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning. Even when I lose, I'm winning, 'cause I give you all of me, and you give me all of you. Cards on the table, we're both showing hearts, risking it all, though it's hard. 'Cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning. Even when I lose, I'm winning, 'cause I give you all of me, and you give me all of you.
Thank you, choir members, and thank you, Mr. Joyner, for your many hours of volunteer service. Let's give him another round of applause. Every cadet was required to write a speech in English class, much to their displeasure. But only 11 were selected to, sorry, I'm Mysterian. Only 11 were selected to compete in the speech contest. This is a great reason to like our Facebook page, because if you visit us there often, you may have viewed some of those speeches on that page. The contest is now over, and this is the prize. It is my great honor to introduce from the GEMS flight, Cadet Ward.
Hello, friends and family. I want to start this off by saying thank you for believing that we could do this. I know for teenagers, we all know what we have done to disappoint others. We see the mistakes we have made, however, we are scared of a word called change. Change is hard for people to accept, but change is also a way of life. Wherever you go and whatever you do, change will also follow. We came here with the mindset to find ourselves, but life is not about finding ourselves. Life is about creating ourselves. Now we are here. We are proud to say that we have created ourselves. It was not easy to create ourselves. We had to be able to fall, pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and do it all over again. All of those cuts and bruises made the proud young men and women you see here today. I want to bring you back to a time that seems so far away now. Do you remember that piece of paper that you held in your hands? And the more you read it, the more you cried. We were all scared and confused, not sure we were doing the right thing. It was a small letter that means so much to you. It was your parents telling you how much they loved and cared about you, and how proud that you were taking a step in the right direction. Everyone around you were all strangers, and most were crying. Do you remember that day? I know most of us just wanted to go home and tell our parents that we love them too. The cadre were hard, and the no talking wasn't fun. The stand here and do that wasn't fun either. But look at you now. Someone yells right face, and you'll do it just like that. Going through this time, 22 weeks, I realized that 22 is my lucky number because 22 has changed my life. 22 assigned, 22 present, and 22 graduated. Some of us will go home and keep long-term friends, the ones that helped you up when the climb was high and so tough, and you felt like you couldn't do it anymore. They stuck by your side. The cadre called them battle buddies. We now call them family because family comes first, and this academy will always be home to me in my heart because we are family. Growing up was hard. I was born into a family with drug addictions. My mom went to prison when I was 3 because she had a need, and sadly, that need was not me. My dad had it hard too. He had a monster just like my mom. But it was different about it. No matter what happened, I always had food in my stomach and a warm place to lay my head. My dad loves me unconditionally, like every parent should. We always moved because my dad could not stay in one spot. Whoa. I'm proud to say that my dad became sober when I was about 13. That is also when change began. He changed for the better, but that was also asking me to change, and I didn't like that because I wasn't ready to change. We moved to a small town, and I lived there for about 4 years. I got into drugs pretty bad, and I also started getting into trouble with the police. I always got let off with a warning, so I would do it over and over again because I believed that they wouldn't give me anything that was worse than a warning. I started fighting with my dad, and our trust relationship was torn apart. I started hating the person I was becoming. I heard about Idaho Youth Challenge Academy about a year ago from my stepmom. She knew I had more potential than I was displaying, but I didn't know it. She was my encouragement. That is why I decided to come. But I was still scared about what they offered. They offered change with care and a second chance. I decided not to go. I moved out of home with the thought, I'll show you, but life kicked me down, and I fell through the cracks. The second time my second chance came around, I was more willing to accept the challenge. Now I'm here embracing the changes I have made. Everyone has a monster, and everyone has a past, but yesterday was yesterday. The only person that you have to worry about at the end of the day is yourself. So if you give 110%, and did all that you could do, you have given a perfect effort. It's time to show the world who you really are now. Don't settle for good enough, push for success. Remember that life is hard, and when you go home, you are in danger of falling through the cracks. Remember the person that stood beside you, because the cadre and your battle buddy truly care. When you leave here today, say how you feel. Tell them thank you and really mean it. To the squadron, let's show them we did this. Stand tall, walk proud, class 15-1. We made it. To the gems, 22 assigned, 22 present, and 22 present. We did something that will be forever in our hearts. And always remember, challenge accepted. To the cadre and staff, thank you for being there and truly caring. To my mom and dad, thank you for always believing in me. And to the people that said we can't, look at us now, class of 15-1. Thank you so much for listening. It is my honor to introduce from the Axeman Flight, Cadet Staff Sergeant Shelton.
Now and then. 2 different times, 2 different places, and 2 versions of myself. Before I came here to the Youth Challenge, I felt inadequate. I felt like nothing would change, like a pack of cigarettes could solve all my problems. I acted out and defiantly did whatever I wanted to. Most of my friends weren't really my friends at all. They only used me and fabricated all that they said to me. Despite my mother's pleas and grievances, I continued to smoke, drink, and blatantly disrespect her. Partying became a priority while my schoolwork was placed in contempt. My grades began to plummet along with my self-esteem, and I turned to self-harm. I began to know what it felt like to be bullied. I was ashamed of myself, and my motivation was at an all-time low. No matter how hard I kicked, no matter how fast my skateboard carried me, there was simply no escaping my problems at home. My mother and I decided that a change needed to be made, and soon. I talked with her about the Youth Challenge, and we went out to the Caldwell Armory for the orientation on the program. I looked down at the papers in my hand and to my own disbelief found myself volunteering to attend the quasi-military academy. Our drive from Eagle up to Pierce was both quiet and extremely loud. There wasn't a whole lot of conversation, but a memorandum of everything that I did wrong roared inside my mind. My stomach twisted in knots, my heart raced, and I was scared of what was to come. Acclamation? Sergeants? Cleanliness? I'd never even heard of the word integrity before I came here. The entire idea was so alien to me. We stayed the night in the Outback Motel in Pierce, where I met the program's coordinator, Mr. Nelson, and his wonderful wife. The town was quaint, beautiful, and encumbered with snow. I saw signs welcoming the cadets and slept well that night knowing that I was accepted by the townspeople. Once I was registered and said goodbye to my family, I took those steps into the DFAC and out into the unfamiliar hallway. There were sergeants everywhere, their stern voices commanding me to dump my belongings onto the floor. I was surprised to find that my white dress shirt didn't have pit stains from how nervous I was. After what seemed to have felt like hours of reading my cadet handbook in a room crowded with other sweaty, bald, nervous guys, we filed into evening chow. That was the best grilled cheese sandwich I'd ever tasted. I was waiting for a sergeant to put me on my face and make me do push-ups for some random reason, but it didn't happen. Then I made the rookie mistake and cussed. Whew, burpees had never hurt so good. Near the end of acclimation, I learned how to respect my cadre and how to keep clean. I compare my bedroom at home to my rack and locker at the academy, and I'm surprised that I even know how to make a bed. I look at myself now and see just that, me. My true colors, what I'm really capable of. I have good grades, integrity, self-discipline, and initiative. Never in my life did I envision myself saying I have an A in math to anyone. But I pushed myself to study, and with the help of Mr. Brocky and my peers, I have succeeded. My cadre have helped me through countless hard times, along with my counselors. I feel more important now that I've served the community, and I know that my work is appreciated. In the academy, I learned things I never thought I would. I've experienced true camaraderie and have built a bond with my fellow axemen and squadron. The most important and most commonly referenced lesson that I've learned is to always have integrity, to do what's right, especially when no one is looking. There were times when I was lacking integrity and I was caught. I did incentive training, had to carry a rucksack, and learned from those mistakes. As I gained maturity, I made less and less mistakes, though still some. My flight had some issues, but we always found a solution to fix them and learn from them. We had some peer reviews where we gave some constructive criticism and really got to know how our fellow axemen felt about one another. We supported each other and bonded in the process. My mentor, Kellen, helped me understand how hard work really does pay off by bringing me words of encouragement and delicious snacks on mentor days. Tech Sergeant Toynbee taught me valuable lessons in some abstract English terms and kept the axemen entertained in the mornings with a funny drawing or riddle on the whiteboard. Tech Sergeant Camden honestly scared me a little at first, and I thought he was going to be the cadre that I didn't like. I was surprised to find out how nice he was, as he rewarded our flight with candy, cadences, and some of his journal entries from basic training. Good candy. Tech Sergeant Pratt is pretty awesome, to say the least. He's sort of a role model to me and constantly kept me motivated with his pep talks and Army wisdom. If someone ever did something dumb, he had a cure for their actions. As he would say, it is possible to sweat out the stupid. Tech Sergeant Nelson helped me out a lot as well, and no matter what, he found a way to get me up and running again when I felt like quitting. Literally, the man really likes to run. One day, I was feeling down after hearing a negative comment about myself, and I'll never forget the words that he said to me. "Don't let the words of a few boneheads get you down, Shelton." Yeah. Tech Sergeant Holstein's stories at night always intrigued me and made me aspire to be the best that I can be. I'll never forget all the morale in his Ranger stories, especially the way he started every one of them off. Axemen know. I find this whole commencement thing kind of contradictory. By definition, commencement means a beginning and also a graduation ceremony. Yet, by graduating, we're also coming to the bittersweet realization that this is the end of our time here, with our newly found brothers, sisters, and amazing cadre. I stand before you today, representing all of my flight, squadron, and the Idaho Youth Challenge Academy, to show you that people really are capable of change. This is a small thought that I wrote to help motivate myself. A challenge is only a method to purge someone of their weaknesses. Wounds heal, but scars will always show. We must use these scars to learn, to avoid past mistakes, and to appreciate the people who stitched said wounds together. We've been given a second chance and to prove on our own strength. That was then, and this is now. This is our time to shine, and thanks to all of you, my life has changed for the better. I would like to thank my tech sergeants, the staff, and especially my beautiful mother, Stephanie, for helping me become the man that I am today. Squadron, please stand up. Give a round of applause for the people who helped you through this program. You may take your seats. Sometimes life will throw mountains at us. All we have to do is convince ourselves that those mountains are nothing but a pebble and accept the challenge. Thank you. It is my honor to introduce from the Scouts Flight, Cadet Staff Sergeant Olmos.
Short, sorry. First off, I would like to congratulate and thank everyone who was able to here to make it to this day that have just accomplished an endeavor that will forever be remembered. As you already know, I'm Cadet Staff Sergeant Olmos, and I'm up here to represent my flight, the Scouts, with honor. I would like to start my speech off with a brief story of what landed me in the IDYCA. In the summer of July 2013, I made a choice that made my family appear as reckless individuals who did not care. As a result, I broke the law one too many times and was confined to state custody. I'm from Blackfoot, so St. Anthony's kind of far away from me. I was put into a group of young men that are very similar to my own background. We were called the Wolverines. While being there for 15 months, I gained a lot of insight on how to help others with their interpersonal problems because of the counseling I received. In one of my counseling meetings, the topic of my release came up along with the option to come to the IDYCA. Since I've been sober from drugs for over 2 years and is no longer an option for me, I needed another route other than going straight home. I was still feeding my hungry mind with an exceptional amount of knowledge that would not only help me, but others as well. Before I was released from the Juvenile Correction Center, I went to court, where there I was embraced by my family and received words that had motivated me to be better. On the night of January 16, 2015, I began saying my final goodbyes to my brothers. I was officially on my way to become a man character. I can comprehend that a select few individuals believe that I would never make it in life, nor would I succeed, yet I'm showing them otherwise. When the analog clock hit 1:15 a.m., I was awakened and prepared myself for one of the longest car rides I will have in my life thus far. It was going to be a drop-off transportation, so I would get picked up by a probation officer that transported an axeman and I. We had to go through Montana in the middle of the cool night. It felt like we were in the middle of nowhere. As we ascended and went higher, with each passing coniferous tree, I was beginning to feel the signs of motion sickness. After about 6 restaurants, 3 porta potties, numerous car sicknesses, regurgitation, multiple clicks from the gas gun, the awful fumes of flatulence later, I read the sign, "Welcome to Pierce, population 508. My mind was swirling, palms are dank, but yet I felt ecstatic and ambivalent to begin the Second Chance program. As I entered the building, I noticed volunteers from the National Guard that were eager to discipline us. Once I finished filling out the final paperwork in that humid gym, I departed my friend. A Caucasian man with a bold, solid figure approached me and announced, "Come with me, candidate." Trying to heave a black garbage sack gets kind of annoying after a while, especially while being bellowed at by some master sergeant. "Yes, sir." "Candidate, call me Master Sergeant." "Yes, sir, Master Sergeant." After what felt like never-ending push-ups later, I finished the required directives. I walked into programs and realized that I was the 8th one to be seated, but I was just glad that I was able to make it on time. Hours later, the room was filled. Excuse me. Hours later, the room was finally full, and I felt extremely malnourished. I was proud of myself because I knew that I had to show through my behaviors that I really had changed. I used to be a young thug that was addicted to drugs, to a caring, gregarious, mature individual that has an unbreakable passion to improve myself. When I was in the 7th grade, I weighed 75 pounds. Now, I weigh 127 pounds. Look at me now. As cadets, sons, daughters, and even parents, we have come and grown in significant ways. This is not the end, though. Instead, this is just the beginning, an adventure, the literal pursuit of happiness. I mean, look around you. Taking this moment to heart, because once you leave those doors right over there, the real challenge begins. I wasn't always a good speaker like the one you see before you. I used to be a really isolative, self-destructive, and mysterious being. While being in the IDYCA, my insights and understandings have bloomed as if they were spring flowers in the springtime sun. I know that all of us have struggled one way or another, whether it be crawling through windows, fraternization, slipping on your grade reports, and just not doing the right thing. We're all human. We're going to make mistakes. But just know that those mistakes don't define who we are as individuals. I have made some really immoral choices in my past, but I chose not to let those choices oppress me. I'm up here now telling you all that change is a choice. To choose commitment, courage, and courtesy. That hard right over the easy wrong will be worth it in the end. Before I became a scout, all I wanted to do was go home to my family. I mean, just getting released from a 15-and-a-half-month reform school and then volunteered to come to this 5-and-a-half-month one. I mean, oh my goodness. But I did it because I wanted to be in my prime before I could go home. I had to keep striving for success if I wanted to become that hero that my mom. Excuse me. I had to keep striving for success if I wanted to be that hero that my mom wants to see. That man character my father's been waiting for all these years. I'm so grateful for all the staff and college that work at the IDYCA that put their perfect effort to help us with our problems. You know, after getting smoked hundreds of times, all those pointless arguments, the cuts, bruises, streaks of tears, how many of you think it was worth it? Raise your right hand. Keep your hand up. How many of you thought about quitting but did not? Raise your other hand. Now stand if this question applies to you. Are you glad you came? Everyone should be looking in this position that I am right now. I know this looks weird, but trust me, after waking up at 0500, hearing reveille, 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 some aren't as attractive as Now reach up as high as you can. Now jump like crazy. Okay, all right, you can take your seats. You're probably thinking, what was that all about? Well, I wanted to see who could touch a star. Right now, it's not possible physically, but mentally and emotionally, it is. It is possible once we leave those doors right over there. In fact, the word impossible says, I'm possible. To conclude, I'd like to leave you all with a poem by Shel Silverstein entitled, This Bridge. This bridge will only take you halfway there to those mysterious lands you long to see, through gypsy camps and swirling Arab fairs, and moonlit woods where unicorns run free. So come and walk a while with me and share the twisting trails and wondrous worlds I've known. But this bridge will only take you halfway there. The last few steps you'll have to take alone. Again, thank you all for coming and supporting the cadets of 15-1 of the Idaho Youth Challenge Academy, and thank you for your time.
Each cadet is required to develop a post-residential action plan, or PRAP, that maps out their goals for successful futures. These goals often include continuing education such as vocational training, community college, and university. We are pleased to have national and state-level foundations to assist them with these goals through the awarding of scholarships. We are so proud to announce. The whole official party can join if you'd like. We are so proud to announce that the National Guard Youth Foundation has selected one of our post-residential graduates to receive a 2-year scholarship worth $3,000 each year. Will graduate Samuel Green from our inaugural class 14-1 please come forward to receive your award. The National Foundation is also awarding a scholarship to one of our 15-1 graduates, sitting right here. We've been keeping this one a secret. None of them know about it. They've all been anxious. So, we are very proud to announce this cadet for earning a 4-year scholarship worth a whopping $20,000, $5,000 a year. Will Cadet Gokenhauer please report to the stage to receive this award? While he's up on stage. Yes, definitely. While he's finishing the walk down, we'll invite the official party to have their seats. Thank you very much. Please open your programs and notice that the web link to the Idaho Youth Foundation in your program insert. Scholarships are just one part of how the foundation supports the Academy in our mission to intervene and help reclaim their potential. There are many ways you can pay it forward. Many parents discovered the newly developing Parent Boosters organization, and the foundation would like to encourage you to consider this as you begin this next adventure in the post-residential phase. In fact, I'd like to ask all of you to do something a little unconventional right now. Please keep your phones on silent mode, but take them out. Not you graduates, you don't have them yet. And find us on Facebook by typing in the facebook.com address /letters IDYCA. You don't have to have a Facebook account to view that page, and you'll find a wealth of pictures, encouragement, news, and events there. We put hundreds and hundreds of, maybe even thousands of pictures on our Facebook page. Yes, I could say Miss Carmen, she does a wonderful job. If you have a Facebook page, I encourage you to like that page today to help boost our presence to the Idaho youth who might need this opportunity. And then leave it loaded, because when you head home today, please share it with your friends and family. We love likes. Speaking of sharing, these cadets have the help of their adult volunteer mentors who give of their time and love to serve as their coach, friend, and accountability partner in the achievement of those PRAP goals. Here to recognize these volunteers and present some mentor awards is our programs coordinator, Mr. Harv Nelson.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming, and Lieutenant Governor, General, distinguished visitors, guests. The Idaho Youth Challenge Academy is about choices and about change. 8 or 9 months ago, our cadets we honor today heard words like quasi-military environment, structure, opportunity, and possibly the phrase, "I cannot guarantee you success, but I will guarantee you a place that if you choose, you can succeed." The cadets of 2015-1 are here before us today because they chose to come and chose to stay and chose to succeed. They chose to meet every challenge head on and chose to complete the residential phase. Now they face the next phase of their challenge. Build on the success you've earned today. Now they face the post-residential phase of the opportunity to accomplish the goals they have set for themselves in their PRAP, or post-residential action plan. But how well will they maintain the standards they've set for themselves when they are no longer surrounded 24 hours a day by cadre and teachers and counselors and advocates and administrative staff, support members who are guiding and cheering them on? Well, in the audience today, and if I could, I'd like the house lights to come up. Because in the audience today, sitting among you, are the unpaid volunteer staff of the Idaho Youth Challenge Academy. These adult volunteers took time out of their lives to apply, to train, and to become challenge mentors. Their weekly letters have provided encouragement, shared strength, hope, guidance, coaching, and love for our cadets. Their continued commitment through the post-residential phase will provide that same weekly outlet for their cadets for the next year as they pursue their PRAP and placement through education, volunteer service, and employment. These mentors chose to make a difference, and they're going to make a difference in the future of our youth. I'd like the mentor volunteers, if you would please stand up, wherever you're at in the auditorium. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you. Now, normally I don't go to Facebook for a source of wisdom. But a few weeks ago, I did see a post from a 30-something mother of four that caught my eye, and it helps illustrate a relationship. The post was, quote, "That horrifying moment when you're looking for an adult, but you realize you're the adult. So you look around, you look for an older adult. You look for someone that's been successfully adulting, maybe for a long time. Or you look for an adultier adult, someone that's been down the road." Oh, the end of quote, sorry. Someone that's been down that path. Well, our cadets, you are developing adults. And it can be a bit horrifying how fast adulthood is coming at you. And some of you are already 18, some it's coming a lot faster than others. But each time our mentors encourage their cadet and hold their cadet accountable to the goals they've set, that mentor helps take some of the fear out of maturing and coming into adulthood, and they are, together with their cadet, changing a life, changing an individual, changing a family, community, and our state. In recognition of our mentors, I'd like to mention one from each flight that has personified the spirit of the Youth Challenge mentor. So when I mention your name, please come forward. We have a small award, and meet your cadet here at the base of the stage, and then come up to the stage. From the Mountain Gems, and again, I need the house lights up, please. Let's keep them up for a bit. From the Mountain Gems, our mentor award goes to Sky Taylor, who is mentor to Cadet Poe. If you would, Sky, if you're here, if you'd come down to and meet Cadet Poe at the stage. Okay, that's fine. So, Miss Taylor has, or Sky Taylor has written faithfully weekly, attended all 3 mentor days, faithful and compassionate. Sky Taylor will come and join Cadet Poe. And as they're waiting, from the Axemen, our mentor award goes to Ray Malott. I know you're here. Mentor to Cadet Curtis. Mr. Malott has wrote faithfully both by letter and email. He was available and supported Cadet Curtis through some very difficult times, starting with their mentoring relationship starting much before this class cycle began. Mr. Malott personifies commitment and support. If you would come join your cadet, sir. Are you coming out of the... Okay, thank you. We got him in the balcony this morning. Okay, now from the Scouts, this mentor was unable to come today, but he has just been phenomenal. From the Scouts, it's Maurice Gray, mentor to Cadet Baldwin. So if Cadet Baldwin would come up to the front. Mr. Gray said his first meeting with then applicant Baldwin sold him on being a mentor. He later told us that if this young man was making such a serious commitment to his future, how could I not support him? Mr. Gray faithfully wrote weekly and would often call the advocate, Mrs. Adderhold, to check on Cadet Baldwin and ask what could he do for him? What does he need from me? Mr. Gray came over several personal obstacles to come to all 3 mentor days, demonstrating a commitment to his cadet. And although he's not able to attend today, Mr. Gray is diligently looking around their community. Baldwin, he's looking for a job for you. And so he'll have one when you get there, I'm sure. Okay. So these are our 3 cadet mentors that are getting an award. And Baldwin, you're tasked with handing that to your mentor as soon as you get home. So cadets, as you graduate the Youth Challenge residential phase, I cannot guarantee you success, but I can guarantee you wherever you go, you can be successful. If you choose to put forth your best effort to work, choose the hard right over the easy wrong, And when you come to that horrifying moment, when you realize you're a young adult facing adult decisions, you don't have to look far for one that's been successful, been down that road. You talk to your mentor. He's there for you. She's there for you. Make sure your mentor is on that cell phone contact list. Consider that number your accountability app. He or she is there for you. Please show our appreciation, all the mentors and these that are awardees. Thank you. Cadet Poe, if you would lead back down off the stage. There you go. Thank you.
Let's give him one more round of applause. We have a fearless leader in our presence. Please welcome Commandant Melissa Browers to share some class and individual achievements during the residential phase.
Welcome, family and friends, and distinguished guests. The cadre staff are honored to have you attend the Class of 15-1 Commencement. Each cadre staff member has tirelessly dedicated their time to lead, motivate, and inspire each cadet to success. Your cadet has shed blood, tears, and even pounds to work towards their goal of graduation, and each cadre member has bandaged those wounds, wiped those tears, and PT'd with their cadets. The cadre have instilled our core values of integrity, courage, respect, and commitment into each of these cadets. But the job is not finished. Parents and guardians, it is now your turn to help set and uphold the standards and values as we send them home to you. Every cadet has accomplished great strides while at this academy, and one of them is a service to community. Between Adopt a Highway, Hatchery, Parks, Reservoirs, Veterans Home, Brookside Landing, blood drives, and taking down the Lewiston lights, Orfino Golf Course, and many more, their total hours of service to our local communities is over 5,000 hours. Which computes to a value of $36,873. We greatly appreciate our service partners who have donated their time to mentor these cadets during their projects. Another of these accomplishments of these cadets that they have made is their physical fitness between push-ups, burpees, crunches, bear crawls, log carries, anything else that you guys can think of. That's just to name a few. The cadet is stronger, healthier, and for some, thinner. We have a few who have lost a significant amount of weight. So from the gem flight, Cadet Bridget has slimmed down 31 pounds. From the Axe flight, Cadet Crespo has lost 30 pounds. Cadet Eckhart has lost 41 pounds. Cadets Dylan and Jabez have lost 53 pounds. From the Scouts, Cadet West, having to gain weight after home pass, but he's lost some more, has actually lost 38 pounds. Our biggest loser of weight, from the Axemen, that's Cadet Keelan Estrada, who has lost a whopping 66 pounds. It's amazing. I'm also honored today to say that we had our very first female squadron commander. Staff Sergeant Ballesteros did an amazing job of leading the squadron through the day-to-day operations. And trust me, as a female, that's no easy task. She was preceded by our first squadron commander, Staff Sergeant Seen, who taught the cadets the meaning of perseverance, and that is true, perseverance, thank you. These two cadets did an amazing job this class cycle. Let's give them a round of applause. Class of 15-1, we are so proud of your accomplishments, and we cannot wait to hear about your future endeavors. We have given you many tools. Now use them to better yourself and others. To our strapping scouts, go and lead the way. To our mighty axemen, set the standard. And of course, to our precious mountain gems, challenge accepted. Go forth and make the state great because you made a difference. I recently read an article by a judge who works with the youth. My challenge to you is the same as his advice. Go home. Yes, go spend time with your families. Mow the lawn. Be productive. Wash the windows. Parents, they know how. Build a raft. Be creative. Get a job. You have completed your resumes, so we know you can. Visit the sick. You guys have been to the veterans' homes and Brookside Landing. That's just a few in our state. There's many out there in your communities. Study your lessons. Never stop learning. And after you finished all of this, read a book. You guys have learned to read a book thanks to Mrs. Therian. Your town does not owe you recreational facilities, and your parents do not owe you fun. The world does not owe you a living. You owe the world something. You owe it your time, energy, and talent, so that no one will be at war, in sickness, or lonely again. In other words, grow up, stop complaining, get out of your dream world, and develop a backbone, not a wishbone. You are important, and you are needed. It's too late to sit around and wait for somebody to do something someday. Someday is now, and that somebody is you. And we thank you.
Fearless leader indeed. We have another fearless leader. He leads our academic department. The goals these young men and women are striving to reach would not be possible without their continued improvement academically. Please welcome our principal, Bicker Therian.
Mr. Little, General Saylor, Director Newland, Mr. Vine, distinguished guests, parents, and staff, it gives me great pleasure to initiate the certificate ceremony for the third class of the Idaho Youth Challenge Academy. But before we recognize the cadets, there's one item of business from this class that I feel needs closure. Last fall, I nominated Mr. Brocky as IDYCA's candidate for the first ever National Youth Challenge Teacher of the Year. Because of Mr. Brocky's outstanding career and tireless contributions to education, he was rightfully selected. He was honored with a trip to the National Youth Challenge Foundation's gala event in Washington, D.C. to receive the award. His wife and mother were able to join him on the trip. However, the organizers of that event failed to publicly recognize him. He later received a nice letter in the mail from the foundation president and was presented with a commemorative trophy. I think Idaho can do a better job of recognizing the first ever National Youth Challenge Teacher of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mike Brocky. Been waiting a long time to do that. Last class graduation, I shared a piece that Robert Fulghum wrote on life and how to live our lives. At the risk of being repetitious, I'm going to share it with today's graduates as well. After all, today is about them, and I don't think they were here in December. We have provided the cadets with many valuable lessons. However, they already knew most of what they needed to know. They just needed a refresher. All I really needed to know about how to live and what to do and how to be, I learned in kindergarten. Wisdom was not at the top of the graduate school mountain, but there at the sand pile at school. These are the things I learned. Share everything. Play fair. Don't hit people. Put things back where you found them. Clean up your own mess. Don't take things that aren't yours. Say you're sorry when you hurt somebody. Wash your hands before you eat. Flush. Warm cookies and cold milk are good for you. Live a balanced life. Learn some and think some, and draw and paint and sing and dance and play and work every day some. Take a nap every afternoon. Hopefully not in class. When you go out in the world, watch out for traffic. Hold hands and stick together. Be aware of wonder. Remember the seed in the styrofoam cup? The roots go down and the plant goes up. And nobody really knows how or why, but we are all like that. Goldfish and hamsters and white mice, and even the little seed in this styrofoam cup, they all die. So do we. And remember the Dick and Jane books, and the first word you learned, the biggest word of all? Look. Everything you need to know is there somewhere. The golden rule and love and basic sanitation, ecology and politics and equality and sane living. Take any one of those items and extrapolate it into sophisticated adult terms and apply it to your family life or your work or your government or your world, and it holds true and clear and firm. Think what a great world it would be if we all, the whole world, had cookies and milk at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon and then laid down with our blankies for a nap. Or if all governments had the basic policy to always put things back where they found them and to clean up their own mess. And it is still true, no matter how old you are, when you go out in the world, it's best to hold hands and stick together. These 81 young people stuck together and dedicated themselves for 22 weeks to working the program and applied themselves to improving in each of the 8 core components. As principal, I affirm that they have all been successful in this difficult task. Candidates are tested on the TABE, the test of adult basic education, in week 2, and again as cadets in week 20. This class showed an average growth of 2 school years in 22 weeks. Remember, a school year is 36 weeks. The average grade equivalency on the pretest was 8th grade second month, and on the post-test, it was 10th grade second month. The average GPA on entry was 1.85. Their accumulative GPA now is 2.52, and their GPA for the academy courses is 3.38. "73% of today's graduates had a GPA of below 2.0, and today that number has been reduced to just 8%. Cadets had the opportunity to earn up to 14 credits in their time on campus. 14 credits is the equivalent to a full school year, accomplished in 22 weeks. I'm happy to report that of the 1,134 credits available, 1,134 credits were earned. Every graduate today earned their 14 credits. In addition to completing the rigorous residential phase of the program, we have 5 cadets earning their high school diplomas today, and 7 more have earned their GED while at the academy. Besides these remarkable educational accomplishments, the cadets have made other significant strides toward responsible citizenship. They have worked diligently accomplishing many soft skills that are difficult to measure but equally important. They registered to vote, registered for the selective service, and many have secured employment. They are physically fit, and the 3rd class of IDYCA is focused and ready for their future. Cadets, as you go on with your lives to whatever your future holds, remember what you learned at the academy. If you get 8 hours of sleep, exercise regularly, eat right, abstain from harmful behaviors, show up and do the work, there is nothing you cannot accomplish. At this time, with the help of the Lieutenant Governor, General Saylor, and the rest of the party, we will issue certificates by flight. Audience, please hold your cheering until the entire flight has been recognized.
Receiving her diploma from Moscow High School, Cameo Akers. Victoria Anderson. Claire Ballesteros. Sam Beener. Receiving her high school diploma, Ashley Bridget. China Cook. Isabella Friend. Receiving her high school diploma today, Caitlin Fritchman. Cheyenne Jagir. Receiving her GED, Alicia Godfrey. Alexis Green. Ruby Jones. Sarah Landa. Receiving her GED today, Amina McMillian. Perla Nava. Sandy Navarrete. Samantha Poe. Candace Ravert. Katie Valle. Selena Walgamot. Katura Ward. Paula Ward. While the Axemen are getting ready, I wanted to mention that our First Lady, Lori Otter, has donated a book for each candidate, or cadet, cadets. They'll be taking home with them today. From the Axemen flight, Adam Alapisco. Alexis Avalos. Francisco Blanco. Frederick Cleveland. Gregory Caldwell. Gerardo Crespo Lorian. Joseph Curtis. Jahan Daigle. Parker Dillon. Cade Eckhart. Keelan Estrada. Jacob Foreman. Nicholas Frame. Tiger Gardman. Receiving his GED today, Lewis Henry. Joseph Jabez. Matthew James. Kid Lacey. Brendan Logue. Jesus Martinez. Colton McCulloch. Tyler McIver. River Mendiola Rumor. Tyler Pinardi. Bradley Rasmussen. Conrad Rhodes. Angel Robinson. Angel Romero. Nathaniel Shelton. Joseph Stone. Sage Thompson. And receiving his GED, Tristan White. From the Scouts flight, Tyler Ackrell. Charles Baldwin. Isaac Brown. Jason Christensen. Anthony Dodds. Matthew Dowdell. Receiving his GED today, Juan Estrada. Receiving his high school diploma from Lake Pend Oreille High School, Michael Gokenauer. Dennis Huddleston. Casey Houston. Marcus Klebesaddle. Joe Lewis. John McKelvey. Jared Millard. Aaron Miller. Peter Motes. Cyan Nocito. Alexander Olmos. Receiving his GED today, Logan Patterson. Rico Rodriguez. Miles Safransky. Receiving his GED today, Dominic Seen. Receiving his high school diploma from Kimberly High School, Andres Silvas. Kurt Vieira. Dylan Vopat. Brian West. And Wesley Wilbur. Feel free to give them a round of applause.
Okay, we're almost finished, I promise. Congratulations, graduates. Squadron commander, put your squadron at attention, please. Cadets, move your tassels from right to left over the heart. Pretty amazing, pretty amazing. Lieutenant Governor Little, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you from Class 2015-1, the third graduating class of the Idaho Youth Challenge Academy. Congratulations. Flip some pages. I don't know if I messed it up.
Please stand or remain standing. That's for the rest of the audience too, yeah. It is now my privilege to introduce Cadet Poe, who will deliver the benediction.
Will you please bow your heads and join me in the benediction? Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity that has been given to us and for finally bestowing this grand moment upon us. This has been a long and hard battle, and you have made it possible for many of the cadets and their families to stick it through till the end. We ask you to help us embrace the change that we have undertaken as we go out into the real world. We pray that you will be there as we put it all to the test and strive to do the best we can throughout the rest of our lives. Let us travel home safely. Please guide us and let there only be positive feelings as we take the next step into our future. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Please be seated. Oh, graduates. They almost lost it. Graduates, more than 6 months ago, you met one of our admissions counselors, and you were offered the opportunity to take charge of your lives. Today, we assign you the responsibility of offering the same opportunity to young men and women that are now as you were 6 months ago. I remind the graduates to pick up their graduation packets as quickly as possible. Those packets are essential for your next steps into the post-residential phase towards your educational employment goals. They contain the actual certificate of completion for your Youth Challenge residential phase. They're not in those, actually. You'll want to check it out. Your transcripts, diplomas, and a wealth of other crucial elements in chasing your dreams. Please also do not leave without collecting any medications you brought with you. Following your final dismissal, there will be a brief 10 to 15-minute photo opportunity with your families in the adjoining cafeteria. Please save any further visiting until after you find your way quickly to the back lunchroom. Turn in your caps and gowns and collect your gear with those vital graduation packets. Staff will depart with or without you having checked in no later than 3 p.m. So parents, that means that as the graduates form out, please allow them to check out before you grab them in the lunchroom. The cadets, could I have the cadre come to the front, please? The cadets have asked to deliver a personal thanks to the names and faces that they will most certainly remember for the rest of their lives, their cadre. As their cadre assemble in front of the stage, the squadron commander has just a few more commands to give. Go ahead and take your seats. Thank you, cadre, for your service. It's very hard for these cadets to graduate and leave their friends that they've developed those relationships with for that 5.5 months.
Parents, guardians.
Since your arrival on the 17th of January, you've received commands to do this and to do that. Seemingly endless commands, right? Now there is one command remaining, cadets.
Distinguished guests, parents, guardians, family, friends, and cadets. I've been given the honor and privilege of being able to give your final dismissal. With that, I want to express my apologies of not being able to be there. Military obligations have called me elsewhere. I'd like to first say how proud I am of every cadet that has gone through this academy. And once again, I've been able to see when you first started to the very end. I've been there during your darkest moments, and I've seen all of you struggle your time here. With that, I've also seen your greatest successes. I could not be more proud of how far you've progressed here. I always have given you 4 things to remember, my 4 sayings. First saying, hard right over the easy wrong. Control your emotions. Communication's essential. And forget yourself and serve others. This saying will help you go far in life. All the effort and the hard work that the staff has done to be able to help you has been able to help every single one of you with your progress forward. I want you to not forget what we have taught you. Do not forget. I guarantee you these things in life that we've been teaching you will help you go far there. I could not be more proud, and I can't emphasize this enough, of how far you've come. With that, squadron, attention! Squadron dismissed.